Bruchim Abayim, Morai V'Rabotai. We're continuing on Shulchan Aruch Orach Chaim Hilchot Shabbat. We're on Siman Shin Aleph, Seif Membet. Hamotzet Tefillin b'Shabbat bebizayon b'makom she'en mishtamerin. Im yesh sakana shekazru shelo la'aniach tefillin. If you find, this actually happened, someone found a pair of tefillin on the sidewalk. Someone had stolen from a car a fancy talit bag, and then they're probably disappointed that there's this bunch of straps that they threw the tefillin bag, Chazu Shalom, on the sidewalk, or was it on the street, I'm not sure, on Shabbat. Right? So if you find a pair of tefillin that's in Makom Bizayon on Shabbat, in a place that's not going to be kept, it's not going to be safe, so Im Yesh Sakana, if you are in a place that you can't put on tefillin openly because the goyim have made a gezerah against having tefillin in the open, shegazru shelo le'aniach tefillin mechasan ve'olech lo, then you cover them and you leave. You do the best you can do, and you go. Ve'im en sakana, but if there's no sakana, you can put them on, directly. Im yesh b'hem retzuot, if you have straps that it's clear that they're tefillin and not just the kamea, and it's in a way that you can wear them, then machnisan zug zug, you can wear them and bring them in. This way, they would not be it would not be a disgrace to them, on the street in the makom bizayon. Derech levisha, you're wearing them, so that's considered a malbush of sort. Even though the Shabbat is not Zman Tefillin, even though that Maran Paskins in Siman Lamed Aleph earlier on in Orach Chaim, that a person that puts on Tefillin on Shabbat is Chayav Mitah based on Zohar HaKadosh. Maran says this, but nevertheless it's Derech Malbush. So in order to save the Tefillin from the Bizayon, from the disgrace that they're found in, you wear them, you bring them in. This is every pair you come zug zug, pair, you wear them, you bring them in every time, one pair. Ve'im hayu rabim, if there is a pile of tefillin, shelo yaspik lelovshan ulachnisan, that you can't have enough time to go back and forth every time wearing one of them and bringing them in, then yachshich alem, then what you should do is just sit down next to them in the Reshut HaRabim, where they are. This way you are guarding them, you're making sure nobody disgraces them, nobody damages them, nobody steals them, and so on, ad alayla, until the night, and then you pile them up and you carry them and you bring them in. And if it's in a place that it's not, it's not safe for yourself, forget about the tefillin, it's not safe for you to sit there because, it could be bandits and robbers and who knows what you're going to encounter staying there, wild animals. Molicham pachot bar. Then Chazal were matir to rely on the Deoraita level that Hotza'ah on Shabbat is only asur if you do Akira v'anacha and you carry it Daled Amot b'Reshut HaRabim. So don't do Daled Amot. You pick it up, you walk 2 steps, you put it down, you go to another 2 steps. Like it'll take a little while, but it's better and more efficient than going every hour taking one of them in, because you have to go back and forth between the house and where this is. So this is more efficient. You can't leave them there in bizayon. In that way, Chazal will matir that you bring it pachot ma'arba amot, or notnam lechavero ad shemagia, or if you have enough people, right? So one gives it to another one gives it to the other one gives it to the other one, right? Each one is less than 4 amot until you get to chaser achitzona, until you get to the outer chaser of the house that you're going to be taking this in, and that's how you save it from the makom of bizayon that's found in the halachic ramifications. Is nowadays are several. When you have, let's imagine you're going on the way and you see a sefer, a kuntres, printed papers on Divrei Torah and Parasha, like a pamphlet of Torah or a Humash, that's on the floor. These things unfortunately do happen. Like, a person has been walking and something has fallen out of the talit bag or whatnot. In Eretz Yisrael probably is more prevalent that a kid has dropped something, and right. So how do you deal with this? So in Shelot U'Shuvot Olat Yitzchak Ratzabi, he writes that you can't carry them. You can't take them even less than Dalet Amot and stop, the way we said for Tefillin. You should leave them where they are, and you don't have to even stay there until Motzei Shabbat, right? If you have what to cover them with, cover them. Be respectful. But that you should do. But it's not the same din as Tefillin. It's not the same halacha as Tefillin. So therefore it will be different, right? Now, again, this gives you a little bit of a mindset how a person should go about it. But at the end of the day, that would be the halacha. Now, the Mishna Berura writes in Seif Katan Kuf Nun Chet that you could bring the tefillins in pairs. Every time you go, you could take a pair of tefillin. It means one of Shel Yad and one of Shel Rosh. Doesn't mean pairs and two of Shel Yad. It means one of each you could wear on your hand and on your head, the way a person wears a regular tefillin on the weekday, and that's what's mutar. And then you go back and you bring another pair. Now, this becomes actually a whole question of tefillin Rabbi Rutam, according to Mekubalin, that you put them together, two pairs at a time, and so on. Not time for it at this moment, but nevertheless, ve'afti kai malan Shabbat lavs man tefillin. Even though that we pass in Shabbat is not time for tefillin, because it's like the way that you wear it usually during the weekday, and therefore it's not considered a masoi, a load. It's considered part of tachshit. It's a tachshit of a Jew to wear tefillin, therefore it's considered not carrying. And it's not bal tosif because you're not mechaven to do a mitzvah. You're not, intending to do a mitzvah. You just want to carry it to save it from the bizayon. And Magen Avraham writes that a woman that finds tefillin, what do you do with a woman, right? Now everyone knows that the daughters of Rashi wore tefillin, and so on and so forth. Tefillin is a mitzvah shazman grama, that nashim are pturot, but they could, if they want to, they could do it. Nowadays the poskim say it's not tzniut, it's not the proper thing necessarily to do, but nevertheless, if a woman finds it, asura lahachnisan b'Shabbat afterich malbush. She can't. It's asur for her to even wear them derech malbush and take them in, because for her, she's not used to doing it. It's not a matter of being chayav or not. She's not used to doing it during the weeks. Therefore, it's not considered a tachshit. It's considered a masoi, is a load that she's carrying, and therefore it will be a problem, right? Now, there are those Achorim who disagree with this, and they say l'maaseh, there's no isur for a woman to do it. L'chatchila is better not to put it, and therefore it's not considered a load for a woman either. But again, this becomes a machloket that, halachically speaking, the majority of the Achronim side with the Magen Avraham that you should not do it, because if a woman goes out with a talit mesuyaset, if a woman wears a talit, for instance, right, talit gadol, that is considered chayav chatat, says the Magen Avraham, because what is she doing? Because once the woman is not accustomed to wearing a talit, then the talit, or certainly the tzitziot, is going to be considered a masoi for her, and therefore it's going to be considered carrying. And there are those who disagree with the Magen Avraham. But again, as we mentioned, many follow the Magen Avraham in this. The Pri Megadim writes that's asur because the tzitziot are considered not batel to the malbush, and that's considered carrying, and so on and so forth. Again, we spoke about this before, Chacham Ovadia has writings in this, both in Yabia Omer and Chelek Tet. He also writes about this in Chavedat, I believe it's in Chelek Hey, Siman Bet. He brings this Pri Megadim in a footnote to his thing, that perhaps if you have a talit katan that is too small, is not the proper shiur, then you are technically carrying the tzitziot in Reshut Harabim on Shabbat when you're wearing this talit katan, because the tzitziot are not batel, they're chashuv, and so on and so forth. So again, this is setting off some alarms, but that basically sums up Seif Membet. And we are Be'ezrat Hashem going to discuss and continue Seif Mem Gimel in the days to come. Chazak u'Baruch.